There we go. Back home. Back freaking home. Yeah. Yeah, I get a lot of questions. It's always holy crap. I didn't know you still lived in Ohio. I thought you'd be in LA or something, I thought you'd be out in Miami, just as it's kind of the nature of the territory. The typical social media fitness guy pipeline is 100,000 Instagram followers, straight to LA. That's usually pretty standard, but it's cool over here. I got a good spot, I feel. And seasons wise, I like it. I don't need a baseline perfect all the time. But that's also, I'm kind of spoiled because I get to travel for, all sorts of different events and stuff. So I kind of get my fill of different places, and then I can come back home, and get back to reality, some serious freaking training. Now I got a little bit of a reality check this last weekend over at Armbrest Pro out in Colorado. Now it was a good reality check, not like holy crap I've been slacking, but I can't think of the perfect way to say it, but that gym had the densest population of people who I thought looked pretty serious about the gym that I've seen for a while, and I don't mean I guess if I today, because I'm just going to my gym, I guess that's pretty dense population because it's just one guy and he's pretty serious. But I mean 50 people and they're all killing it. If you're up in Denver, that is a serious gym. And every time I go to a really cool gym, whenever anybody who actually lives there, that's their home gym, I'm always telling them I think they're freaking spoiled just to have a crazy gym like that. I started working out at the YMCA in this town, and then bounced around some Planet Fitnesses. There's some pretty cool gyms in Ohio too, a little more further towards Columbus, Metro Worthington, solid. The Pros Gym, really straight in town in Columbus, solid. American Barbell, super solid. He's almost upgraded that place from a regular gym to a full-on facility. I gotta make my way down there pretty soon because they just finished this huge renovation isn't the right word. Expansion is the right word. It's freaking nuts over there. But sometimes the gym isn't exactly the equipment, it's the members in it. It's the members in it actually bringing it. You can have some zillionaire guy who's got his fancy pants crazy. Whoa. That's got to be the biggest red-tailed hawk I've ever seen in my life. But getting back to what I was saying, some crazy old dude can have a really cool car that's got 0 miles, and it just sits, and it's like a museum piece, right? It's cool. But then there's the other cranny, maybe I guess this would be maybe a younger tech billionaire guy who's out racing it, ripping it around, and actually making it happen. So that's not exactly the same analogy, but similar. You can have the best gym in the world, but if the energy brought by the people in it isn't there, it's just it would kind of take away from it. Imagine going to the gym, you're amped, it's got the craziest new equipment that you've been seeing guys use, and you're like, holy shit, I've never used this row before, I got a crazy back day, let's make this shit happen. And then what if everybody was just sitting on their phones all the time? Every set, every movement, just I think it would take, you'd still be excited because it's new equipment, but it would take away from the enjoyment. So I guess the main point of this statement is if you've got a gym with a badass standard populace, if you're headed down to XYZ Fitness every afternoon or every night at 6 or 7-ish, and it's a group of beasts, you better enjoy that. What if you move? It's just regular life. No lifter enters the same gym twice, right? Because he's not the same lifter and it's not the same gym. I've had that feeling, unfortunately. I went back to this gym and it was next to Hilton Head. It wasn't on the island. It was on whichever Carolina that's connected to. But I went there when I was like 17. You know, I've told this story before. I'm lifting in a tank, feel like a beast. I'm bent over rowing a plate in a 25. You know, I thought I was the shit. And we did another family trip there like 4 years later. You know, now I'm like a freaking 240 pounder or 230 pounder or something. You know, I'm throwing crazy weights around. I'm excited to go back to the same place. And little do I guess soon do I find out the gym closed, you know, and that's kind of out of your control. So if you've got a gym with some ballers in there, make sure you enjoy it. And if you're in school and you're getting used to the college rec center workouts that you've been doing, because, you know, that's probably the most, not the most camaraderie, but that was definitely the most, I'd call a social hour gym that I've ever kind of experienced, was back in college, because you basically know everybody. Everybody's pretty serious about the gym because they're like, all right, I'm out of high school now, it's time to get real. And, you know, everybody's just like a total nut. Like I wish I got a picture. This would be fucking a badass picture. It was me and my buddy Maverick. We're both squatting across from each other because the racks in this gym were like this big cage of 6, so 2, 2, 2, so they're kind of facing each other. And we're both doing, it looked like a freaking squat off. We both had 5 plates loaded, you know, and that was each of our working sets. Man, well, I guess I got the memory, but a picture would have been freaking crazy, you know. So as much as the gym is about you, and it's your journey, and it's your goals that you're trying to achieve, and you got to get serious about it. You know, being serious about your training doesn't always mean being mean about it. It doesn't mean coming in and just, all right, playtime's over. You know, you turn on your crazy ass metal playlist and you just fucking, you almost done with that, bro? You know, like just fucking, you know, being a total lunkhead like that. That's not how it is, you know. And I don't, I've definitely had workouts like that, especially if you're going through something. You kind of get that more just like grungy kind of pissed energy, which is good. You know, you got a solid outlet for it. But for the most part, like if I try to describe the perfect workouts headspace, it's not like I'm not pissed. Before I do a set of squats, I'm not thinking, I hate the bar, or whatever, you know, or I gotta lift the car off my kids or something like that's it's more like it's just an excited feeling, you know, like the way that I like to think about kind of the training headspace that I would prefer to be in. It's more like a Goku mindset than a Vegeta. It's not chasing anything, or it's not trying to achieve anything specifically, or like beat something or beat someone or prove something. It's kind of more like I just want to see how far I can go. Like I want to see how hard I can push myself, and just going through it with that mentality in mind, it just lets me have way more freaking fun. You know, if the gym sucked, like if somehow just coming in, training, you know, taking my pre-workout, cardio, everything, if that's really sucked and I didn't enjoy it, I'd never want to do it. It would just feel like a total chore, and I mean, I definitely wouldn't have done it for this long. So I don't want to do anything to throw off that fun and excitement, if you kind of know what I'm saying. But plan for chest and go nuts, of course, but I'm not exactly sure how, so I'll have to see once I get in there. I'm going to warm up my rotator cuffs, my arms, my triceps, my forearms, my back, everything in this upper torso area I want warm, because, you know, with a back day, even though I might be moving more weight than I would on a chest day, it's everything is in tension. You know, when you're doing a back movement, you don't have any compressive force on your joints. It's all just, you know, tension, pulling, and we're pretty strong like that, you know. Now, when you have 100-something pounds and you're rowing it, that's basically all tension, right? But if you have 100 pounds and you're pressing it, right, that's a little bit more pressure on like your rotator cuff, your joints, your elbows, your wrists. So that's why chest gets a little bit extra in terms of the warm-up phase. You know, I want everything to feel I mean, just warm, and ready, so that when I jump onto an incline bench and start doing, incline dumbbell or something, or just like a converging press, or whatever that first movement is, I don't feel any tweaks. I don't feel any weak points. I feel like everything's in order, and the only thing I have to worry about is going nuts. So, I think nothing else to say there. Let's just get freaking started. There we go. All right, back to the bat cave. So, I feel super strong. Like a month ago, I was not pressing 150 on this can of cable press. I was doing 100, and even that felt heavy. Now, honestly, 150 doesn't really even feel like that much of anything. But I can't really go that much heavier because I can only press down with as much force as I weigh. So I couldn't even do both stacks. If I had both stacks in my hands, it would pick me up off the floor. So what I'm going to use today is a little bit of a back off day, at least to start. So instead of jumping straight on the Smith for 3 plates for whatever, let's just do at least 2 squeezing, burning sets here to get started, which I really used to not like. In my head, I used to think, okay, well, shit, why would I want to start off with lighter weight? I should start with the heaviest weight feasible. And I still follow my own logic where it's okay, well, I want to warm up, I'm fresh, I can move that much weight, then I can do a really heavy fresh set. But I think if you take that to the extreme and every set or every workout is always starting with the heaviest thing possible, you're probably asking for trouble, but also your training can get stale. Every day is the same approach. So now I value a little more of the variability where I'll start with some light squeezing stuff first, get pumped, get warm, get kind of pre-fatigued, and then maybe move on to that, converging chest press over there. And then after doing a few of these sets, 3 plates might feel like 4 plates, and I'll be super pumped, and well, we kind of get the logic. But let's get started with a different song. That's not really doing it for me right now. Yeah. Demons, Human Error Project. Every fucking time, man. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Yeah. One more of those at least. Same weight, hopefully more intensity. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Holy shit. All right, one more, and then I'll move on. So I'm trying to keep my shoulders sucked back, and I'm focusing on pulling with my upper chest, not my lower chest. And I'm not feeling any burning sensation down here. It's almost all up towards my collarbone, which is what I'm aiming for. This is more of an inclined chest bent over press. Yeah. 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 Okay. Holy shit. All right, now let's do some machine chest press. All right. Yeah, 3 plates on this press is just about right. It's heavy, but it's not too heavy. That's kind of what I want, that sort of sweet spot feeling. Come on. Okay. Okay. Holy shit. Yeah. Just one more. Okay. All right, I've got a plan for a little something different for the next one. Let's just do those 2. Yeah, 2 both solid. So this is back to a little more of a squeezing movement. So this flat chest press, I kind of like doing single arm more, like sort of twisting my body. And then I'm doing the same thing that I was doing with those cables, where instead of just a straight up press out, I'm almost pressing further in, you know? So instead of ending at this range of motion by pulling my upper arm just to basically 90, I can actually go a little further over and just get an extra crazy squeeze. But let's do like 10 or something on each side and then repeat until I'm only doing like 3 on each side. Might just do 1 here, but this will be good. Yeah. All right, let's do a pec deck and then decide what'll be after that. We're getting close to done. Just a straight up stack set should be about right. And I think I want to finish back with the cables, but let's see how this feels.
Okay, one more of those. Whew. I stopped counting after like 5. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's go back to the cables. I think one more hand over hand press, and that'll be all. All right, so I might actually make this like a superset. So bent over hand press first, and then I might drop the weight by half and do some flies. But let's finish the first part first. Okay. Yeah, 70. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Ooh, let's see how we're looking. Chest complete. Okay, so that was, let me think about this. That was, I think, 3 sets of cable press. So 3 sets of cable press, 2 sets of machine press, 1 set of sort of crossover machine press, 2 pec decks, and then another cable finisher with a superset. Yeah, 9 setter, which I kind of predicted. I thought that my volume would go up once I start eating a bit more. I don't want it to, like, more volume doesn't mean more better, but to an extent, once you start eating more food from a prep to a more main gaining / minor surplus bulk, you simply have more freaking energy, you know, so you can make some more sets happen. And I think that's not even the full scope of it. It's more so make some more productive sets happen. You know, not just more sets for no reason, but for a purpose, you know, the purpose being wreck my freaking chest so that it, you know, I go home with a need to grow it. But fuck, man, I feel like even just standing here, like kind of tightening my waist up, I mean, shit, I'm feeling rather beefy, that's for sure. So let's hit a few here. Whew. So that's what I want to see, like hitting the side chest here and have my arm like really separate out every part. I mean, I'm seeing front delt all the way to side delt, super round, and then even bicep to tricep especially, just being extra bulbous. So that's freaking cool for me. Let's I mean, shit, even just doing more of an arm centric, most muscular I mean, I just feel like a total beefcake right now, which I guess is the whole point. But I mean, like, this feeling has not changed even since I was back at like 160, hitting a little side chest while holding my phone with one hand because I didn't have a tripod yet. So yeah, there's no, what's the word, desensitization to the enjoyment of a pose down. But yeah, man, shit, that's all I got. So still seeing a substantial amount of grain, even though I've definitely got a bit more body fat than like, what, a month ago or so. I don't want to get too soft, but as long as these pose downs keep looking like this, doing my cardio, increasing my calories incrementally, not just jumping straight to like a zillion, because I don't want to lose this yet. I'm not in the mood to lose all this fanciness and get like crazy perma-bulked. But what are you gonna do, man? You know, sometimes you gotta freaking eat if you want to grow. So nothing else to say. Let's just get back home. Chest freaking complete. There we go. All right, little technical difficulties. Almost left the microphone off, but I remembered. Did not freaking forget this time. So yeah, plan now is actually to stop at Sheetz. I'm nearly empty, you know. And is it, I mean, how low of a gas tank is actually affecting your fuel pump, right? I mean, I could definitely imagine like zero, beyond zero, when you're really just, you know, running off scraps. But I feel like that would just be, I mean, if not enough gas gets through, how's that going to fuck with the pump? Or mess with the pump, rather. I don't know. But either way, 16 miles. So I think that's enough gas where this thing's still pumping fine. But I should make it a habit to just not. I've never gotten myself stranded, but I wouldn't put it past me. You know, I mean, it's kind of like, let's just hope it doesn't happen. So I gotta fuel up, then go home and fuel up. So home, what am I gonna be chowing down on? I'm not totally certain. Definitely ground beef will be the source of protein, but carbs, who to say? Maybe I might bust out some cream of rice. Right, that's a brand spanking new, raw cream of rice. There's one flavor in particular which is still about to be released. I just kind of, let's not spoil it too much, but out of all of them, that one's my favorite. So keep an eye out. I'll make a reference to that later. But if you want my cream of rice tip, I'm usually doing about 30 grams worth of cream of rice, or whatever the individual unit serving is, to about 100 grams of water. So it's like a little more than 3 to 1. Microwave, yeah, I'm kind of using like a small bowl, so kind of a little bit of a steeper, or a little bit of like a fatter ratio of height to width. You know, like if you used a really flat, wide bowl, I think you might run into some kind of like clumping issue. But I'm doing about 30-ish seconds in the microwave, stir, 30 seconds, stir, 30 seconds, stir, you're golden. You know, do that until homogenized. If you just throw it in there for 3 minutes, then yeah, I mean, it will be cooked, but it's just going to be like a clumpy kind of mess, you know, so you got to kind of keep that thing stirring. That would be a very interesting thing, having like some kind of, I don't know, I guess there'd be a lot of ways you could go about it, but imagine having some kind of apparatus in your microwave that could automatically just stir your cream of rice, because then it would be constantly stirring. You just leave it in for 3 minutes and you'd be good. But that's definitely the trick. You know, I think it says 1 minute and stir, which might work fine, but in my experience, I'd go for a little bit of 30 seconds. And then I get 30 minutes of cardio while I wait for the video to render once I get down to the basement, and then we'll be freaking good. So, what else was I about to say? I don't even freaking remember. Well, either way, let's, this is a good feeling. It feels good leaving the gym knowing I'm like pumped to SHIT. And even during that pose down, like that was freaking just, well, you know how I feel about it. That was extra. So I want all my workouts to end like that. Just that feeling of like oomph, you know? So I'll see if I can make that happen tomorrow for back as well. So I'll dabble out. I think it warrants a trip to a separate gym, maybe a little bit further that I haven't been to for a little while. So maybe I'll get up extra early. I want to get into a groove of like super early workouts, but sometimes I just freaking sleep in, and not sleep in like crazy, but just, if you've got an alarm for 5, either 2 things are going to happen. 1, you're going to jump your butt out of bed and you're good. Or 2, you're going to smack it off without even really reaching full consciousness. And then, before you know it, it's like 8. And you're late as crap for whatever the hell you got to do. So, I'm going to try to get on a better groove. But it's like shit goes down later at night, So it's like it's kind of a balancing act. But either way, badass lift. So now I just get to enjoy the fruits of the labor of the pump. That is being a little sweaty, kind of sore, and mainly hungry. So this will be my last little note. But if you're thinking, okay, I want to get serious, I want to get a little bit more serious about the gym, and we've all had this feeling. It's like, summertime, school's out, just finished my last final, think I passed it. Let's get real. I got a little more time on my hands. You're usually going to think one of 3 things. Or, well, I guess I don't know. What are the kind of the classic things people think about when they're saying I want to lock in for real when it comes to the gym? I feel like diet is one, cardio is another one, but I think a lot of people don't do that. And just overall, like, training oomph, like training intensity, like focus. So if you're going to up one of the 3, I think your food, whether it's like, restricting calories so that you're actually getting leaner, or increasing calories so you're growing, one or the other, that's a substantial change. That can really push the envelope one way or the other in terms of your progress. But kind of more overarchingly, like something that'll bleed into the rest of everything when it comes to the gym, is I think just as simple as how hard you're going, So what I mean by that is, if you take 2 guys, they go to the gym, they each have the same like base instinct of eat, hydration, rest. Like they're not doing a meal plan, they're just kind of eating as they go, like kind of normal, just eating like a regular dude. And then every night, maybe give them a day off, they're going to the gym, they're working out. Right? They're doing a regular push-pull legs, Arnold split, whatever they're doing, any combination of the 2. Maybe one guy's a little funky, he's doing like chest and buys and back and tries, or something like that. But either way, hitting every body part twice a week. Their volume is just about the same. Their sets are about the same. They're the same-ish level of strength at the beginning. But one guy, every time he comes in, this is the exact same dude. Imagine like a clone universe. One guy is really pushing it. Every set, he's doing a few more reps beyond the level of comfort that the other relatively more slacker guy is doing. He's busting out some partials. He might throw in a drop set every so often. He's really taking a second before his sets. He's taking a breath. He's very centered and focused. Whereas the other guy does the same kind of workouts, but he just kind of slacks through them, Or maybe he's working out in a group and he's having a conversation mid-set. Not good. That's how I look at it. I'm not saying it's against the rules. There's no rules. But I wouldn't, like, if I'm hitting a set, or if I'm talking to somebody and we're, kind of mid-lift, it's, all right, come on, hit your set, I'll hit my set, then we'll come back and continue this debate on whether Goku could beat Saitama, which obviously Saitama would win. That's a topic for its own discussion. So the guy who's bringing it harder is going to come home more tired, and his body is going to have to recover more from that workout because the workout is more intense. So he's also going to be hungrier. He's got a physical need for energy to recover. So over the long run, that guy who didn't really change anything about his diet or his sleep or whatever, the guy who pushed himself harder in the gym is going to make more progress. Not only because the workouts will be better, but it's also going to cause him to have a better recovery process. He's going to be hungrier, he's going to be more tired, he's going to be thirstier, so he's going to sleep more, eat more, and drink more. That's it. Like, that's the shit for actually inducing growth of any kind. If I was given 2,000 calorie rations from here on out, I would never gain another pound of muscle.
eventually I'd reach an equilibrium where I would probably be like a really peeled, like 200 something, you know. I'd eventually reach a baseline point, so I'd still look nuts, but I'd never grow, because that's not enough calories to actually, you know, produce growth. So just something to keep in mind, right? If you want to do one thing that will bleed into everything, take a second before your next set, and just get yourself in the headspace to go nuts. You know, I'm not saying rip your pecs off, but you know, go as crazy as you can, and it will pay off. Right? Now, after one workout, maybe not, but after 10, after 20, after 100, after 200, I think I'm getting pretty close to the 3,000 mark. I think by the end of the year-ish, because middle of summer is going to be like 8 years working out. So 8 times 365 is basically 8 times 350. So that's 4 times 700. Yeah, okay. Well, next year is when I'll hit my 3,000 lift mark-ish. So, I mean, shit, man, it's a long game, but it's fun, so you're gonna want to keep playing. That's how I look at it. But either way, I'm gonna pull into Sheetz, maybe grab a snack, maybe just grab like a freaking Mountain Dew Zero. I'll probably do that. But either way, I'll see you tomorrow.